They weren't just murderers, they were monsters. Twisted minds lurking in the shadows, hunting, torturing, and killing without remorse. And when they spoke, their words sent shivers down spines. Words so disturbing they will stay with you long after this video ends. Tonight, we step into the minds of 21 of the most horrifying serial killers in history. These are their own words, unedited, unfiltered, and chilling to the bone. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear isn't just disturbing, it's the closest you'll ever come to pure evil. 1. Carl Panzram, a man with no soul, no remorse, only pure rage. Carl Panzram, a killer who admitted to 21 murders and over 1,000 assaults, believed in only one thing: death. I believe the only way to reform people is to kill them. Panzram didn't see redemption, only destruction. He wasn't just a killer, he was an executioner of his own twisted justice. Jane 2. Topin, a nurse, someone sworn to heal, yet she had a different ambition. Jane Topin confessed to killing 31 people in cold blood, but that wasn't enough. That is my ambition, to have killed more people, more helpless people, than any man or woman who has ever lived. She didn't just kill, she took pleasure in watching her victims slip away, powerless, helpless, completely under her control. It's Albert Fish, a man so evil, his very existence haunts history. Albert Fish wasn't just a murderer, he was a predator, a cannibal, a nightmare. I always had the desire to inflict pain on others and to have others inflict pain on me. I always seemed to enjoy everything that hurt. His depravity knew no limits. His victims, often children, suffered unimaginable horrors before he took their lives, and when he spoke of his crimes, he did so with a sickening pleasure. 4. Arthur Shawcross, a monster who fed on his own cruelty. Arthur Shawcross killed 14 people and then described his horror with stomach-churning detail. I took the right leg of that woman's body, from the knee to the hip, took the fat off and ate it while she stared at the other girl. When I bit into it, she just urinated right there. The fear, the helplessness, the unimaginable horror. He didn't just kill, he turned his victims' last moments into something out of a nightmare. 5. Aileen Wuornos. She saw the world as a place of evil, and in return, she became evil herself. Aileen Wuornos, one of the most infamous female serial killers in history, left behind a chilling thought. To me, this world is nothing but evil, and my own evil just happened to come out because of the circumstances of what I was doing. In her mind, the world had wronged her, and she lashed out in the only way she knew how, by taking lives. 6. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. A family man on the outside, a sadistic killer on the inside. For years he toyed with police and the media, enjoying their fear, but his confession reveals his true horror. When this monster entered my brain, I will never know, but it is here to stay. How does one cure himself? I can't stop it. The monster goes on and hurts me as well as society. Maybe you can stop him. I can't. The monster, he called it. But it wasn't a monster. It was him, and he loved it. 7. Edmund Kemper, a giant of a man, with a darkness so deep it consumed him. Edmund Kemper, the co-ed butcher, didn't just kill, he turned his murders into a grotesque fantasy. I remember there was actually a sexual thrill. You hear that little pop and pull their heads off and hold their heads up by the hair, whipping their heads off, their bodies sitting there. That'd get me off. Cold, calculated, and completely void of human emotion. 8. David Alan Gore. There are moments in a killer's life when they realize they've stepped beyond the point of no return. For David Alan Gore, that moment was haunting. All of a sudden, I realized that I had just done something that separated me from the human race, and it was something that could never be undone. He knew he had crossed over into a darkness he could never escape, and instead of turning back, he embraced it. 9. Charles Manson, a mastermind of manipulation. Charles Manson never wielded the knife himself, but his words killed. I've killed no one. I've ordered no one to be killed. These children who come to you with their knives, they're your children. I didn't teach them, you did. A man who convinced his followers to butcher in his name and then shrugged off responsibility. David Berkowitz, son of Sam, a city held hostage by terror. David Berkowitz, the son of Sam, killed for pleasure, and when he was done, he celebrated. I was literally singing to myself on my way home after the killing. To him, murder wasn't a crime, it was a release. And as long as the urge was there, no one was safe. 11. Karl Panzram, again. Even in his final moments, Karl Panzram was pure rage. Spitting in the executioner's face, he snarled his last words. "Hurry it up, you Hoosier bastard. I could kill a dozen men while you're screwing around." Panzram didn't just hate the world, he loathed every living thing, including himself. "I don't believe in man, God, nor devil. I hate the whole damned human race, including myself. I preyed upon the weak, the harmless, and the unsuspecting. This lesson I was taught by others. Might makes right." His life ended in an instant, but his words, they live on, a testament to the pure, unrelenting evil inside him. John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. He smiled, he laughed, he entertained children. But beneath the clown makeup was a sadistic monster. Gacy strangled and buried at least 33 young men and boys beneath his house, and when asked about his crimes, his response was chilling. A clown can get away with murder. He hid in plain sight, and his victims never saw the monster lurking beneath the painted smile. 13. Henry Lee Lucas. Some kill for power, some kill for revenge. Henry Lee Lucas? He killed for pleasure. His words reveal the sickness in his mind. "Sex is one of my downfalls. I get sex any way I can get it. If I have to force somebody to do it, I do. I rape them. I've done that. I've killed animals to have sex with them, and I've had sex while they're alive. There are crimes, and then there are horrors beyond comprehension." Lucas walked that line and crossed it again and again. 14. Ian Brady, the Moors murderer. Ian Brady and his partner Myra Hindley were a duo of nightmares, preying on innocent children and leaving a scar on British history. When confronted with the morality of his crimes, Brady dismissed it entirely. "We do whatever we enjoy doing. Whether it happens to be judged good or evil is a matter for others to decide." To him, murder wasn't wrong, it was just a matter of perspective. One of the first documented serial killers, H.H. Holmes built a twisted murder castle designed to trap and kill his victims. He saw himself not as a man, but as something far worse. "I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing." Holmes was hanged in 1896, but death did not come swiftly. His neck didn't break, and it took 15 minutes for him to die. Perhaps, in those agonizing moments, he finally felt what his victims had suffered. Jeffrey Dahmer, murder, rape, cannibalism, necrophilia. Jeffrey Dahmer was beyond evil. He was a monster hiding behind a soft-spoken demeanor. My consuming lust was to experience their bodies. I viewed them as objects, as strangers. It is hard for me to believe a human being could have done what I've done. Even in his own words, there was no remorse, only the chilling realization that he saw people not as humans, but as things to be used and discarded. At 17, Peter Kürten, the vampire of Dusseldorf. Some killers revel in death, but Peter Kürten? He craved the moment of dying itself. His final words before execution were horrific. "After my head has been chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from my neck? That would be the best pleasure to end all pleasure." A man obsessed with blood, ending his life with one final disturbing thought. 18. John Haig, the acid bath murderer. Hay didn't just kill, he dissolved his victims in acid, leaving behind nothing but memories and nightmares, and in his dreams, a vision of pure horror. "In my dream, I see before me a forest of crucifixes which gradually turn into trees. At first there appears to be dew or rain dripping from the branches, but as I approach, I realize it is blood. A man consumed by the darkness inside him, dreaming of blood before spilling it." 19. Ted Bundy. Charming, intelligent, deceptive. Ted Bundy was proof that monsters don't always look like monsters, and to him, murder was nothing more than a process. You learn what you need to kill and take care of the details. It's like changing a tire. The first time you're careful, by the 30th time, you can't remember where you left the lug wrench. Killing became second nature, and as the body count rose, so did his arrogance. 20. Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. He claimed he was doing God's work. In reality, he was a butcher of women, taking 13 lives and attempting to take 7 more. His reasoning? Beyond sickening. "The women I killed were filth, bastard prostitutes who were littering the streets. I was just cleaning up the place a bit. There was no regret, no remorse, only twisted justification for unimaginable brutality. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Evil incarnate, Ramirez didn't just kill, he worshipped death. And when asked about his crimes, he didn't hesitate to answer. I've killed 20 people, man. I love all that blood. No regret, no hesitation, only a sick, twisted love for the horror he inflicted. There you have it, the darkest words ever spoken by the world's most horrifying killers. These weren't just crimes, they were acts of evil, committed by people who walked among us, hiding their monstrous nature until it was too late. Which quote chilled you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more terrifying true crime content, make sure to subscribe, because trust me, there are more stories waiting to be told, ones that might be even worse than these. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant, because monsters, they're real.